I've been a family financial advisor now for over 20 years. And one of the questions people like to ask me is, what's the biggest challenge of getting to or being in retirement? And people are surprised, right? As a financial advisor, they're expecting me to talk about not having enough money or not investing their money in the right way, which are valid points and are really important ones. But the biggest challenge is preparing yourself emotionally for retirement. Unfortunately, about 1/3 of us are going to experience depression at some point in retirement. And for the guy whose channel is, I want you to think about retiring early. I want you to be thoughtful and deliberate about that. It's not really good advertising for early retirement. But let me ask you a question. Almost 1/4 of all women experience postpartum depression. Does that mean they shouldn't have kids? They shouldn't have families? Of course not, right? You just need to know that this is something that some people go through. And if that were to happen to you, what can you do to help yourself through that difficult period? And that's what today's video is to give you some information about what the phases look like, how people find themselves in that situation, and then how to get out of it. So let's jump in and talk about it. Okay, the first thing I want to say is there's really 4 main phases of retirement. And in the first phase is, it's what the postcards are. It's what the television shows are. It's the retirement is a vacation. And that typically lasts about a year. And I want you to enjoy every day of that because you've worked hard and we need to decompress and we need to recharge our batteries. But at some point, we wake up and say, okay, vacation over. I'm not sure I want to drink another margarita for a while. And at that point, we start going into the other phases of our life. And unfortunately, the next phase of that, now I'm going to argue at the end that we can leapfrog over these next 2 phases. So stay to the end because I'm going to tell you how to leapfrog over phases 2 and 3, which frankly don't sound like a lot of fun, and go right to phase 4, which is a lot of fun. Okay, the second phase is feeling lost. It's a big transition. It's one of the biggest transitions of your life, right? You've likely worked 30 or 40 years, and just like a young person going from high school to college and leaving all their high school friends behind, friends that they may have grown up with, and their families. It's a huge transition. And yet, our kids can do it, right? They pack up 2 suitcases, they go to the other side of the United States often, and they basically start their life as a new person. It's the same thing in retirement, right? So if we're not careful, we can feel lost. And we can feel lost because we're gonna miss the big 5. And the big 5 are our routine, right? Our job gives us our routine and identity. You go to a party, what do? Well, I'm a vice president of blah, 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 right? So it gives us our identity. Relationships, we spend a lot of time at work, oftentimes more time, unfortunately, than we spend with our own family. So we have a lot of relationships at work, but once we're no longer part of that close-knit group, once we don't have that common challenge, no matter how close you were with your colleagues at work, most of us are going to experience feeling disconnected and lose that depth. So we're going to lose that relationships. We're going to lose our purpose, right? What's my purpose? Well, my purpose is, I'm a provider in my case, I'm a provider for the family, right? I'm a financial advisor. I help people make good financial decisions. I help them prepare for retirement, etc. So when you retire, you lose a lot of that. And the last one is power. Some people had power at work, either power because informational power because they had been at the firm so long, or relational power because they know a lot of people. But you can also lose power. And all of those things are big life adjustments. So that's phase 2, is kind of getting through that. And then phase 3 is kind of trial and error. After you've been in what I call the purgatory of phase 2 for a while, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna quit feeling sorry for myself. I'm gonna start working my way out of it. And for some of us, the very first thing we try, we're going to be super passionate about. We're going to be excited to be doing whatever this new thing is. But for many of us, it's going to be a phase of trial and error. And in fact, that is what phase 3 is trial and error, trying out different things, maybe being involved in a not-for-profit. Maybe you've always enjoyed sports, so you're going to coach or you're going to umpire at a local sporting event or the local high school or the youth sports league. You're going to try to plug in a way that works for your retired life, where you don't have these big commitments, you don't have the weight of the world on your shoulders that you had when you worked, but you have a purpose in life. You have a reason and you're excited to get out of bed, right? So that's the trial and error. And then the fourth place is the promised land. It's where we all want to end up being, where we've crossed that chasm. And now we're excited about where we are, and we're enjoying that life every bit and even more so than the life that we had before, right? Retirement it gives you such tremendous freedom in the ability to do things that are really hard to do when you're working. And, if you're 60 years old, unfortunately, most of us are only going to have 1,000 weeks of healthy, active time. Take full advantage of that feeling of vacation. And, if that lasts for you for 18 months, don't feel like you have to rush through it. So just enjoy it. But after that, I think we're all best served to leap over and get to phase 4 as soon as we can. So how do we do that? We do that by preparing ahead of time. We think about these things ahead of time. We can start doing things today while we're still working that are making it easier for us when the time comes to transition from vacation retirement to meaning and purpose retirement, that phase 4. So what can you do? I'm sorry, I'm a financial advisor, so it's going to start with, I think we all need to have clarity on our financial plan. Whatever you do, don't retire until you know that financially. So the first one is financial clarity. I want you to have that. And then the second one is I want you to be thinking about, while you're working, coming up with what is that next passion? What is that next purpose? For sure, take all of your vacation. As Americans, we're horrible about taking our vacation. Half of us don't take all our vacation. And America has some of the least vacation time of any country in the world. So take advantage of it and use that time not just to travel, but maybe to explore different things. I have a concept that I call mini retirements. And what I mean by mini retirements is taking some time and, you get 2 weeks of vacation or 4 weeks of vacation, or maybe you're fortunate you get 6 weeks of vacation. Can you group that together, or can you take a sabbatical and try doing something for 30 days? The immediate answer I get from people when I ask, what are you planning on doing in retirement, which is an important question. It's usually hang out with the grandkids, spend more time with my kids, and travel. And those are great things to do. But if travel's on your list, make sure you try it first. And a sabbatical can be a great thing. So those are some things that we can leapfrog into to get right to phase 4. And on that subject, I want to leapfrog you into this video here, which talks about 8 things that I want you to stop doing in your 50s and 60s to enjoy the journey more. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.